x minus 2. Let's just go through a few of these. What is f of x plus g of x? What happens when you add the two functions? Well, you just literally add them together. And then you have
Yeah.
to combine like terms. What would that look like?
That would be 3x plus 1.
Okay. Now when you subtract, the order matters. Like you have to take the first one. But when you subtract the second one, you're subtracting all of it, so it goes in parentheses,
Yeah.
which means you have to you have to distribute that negative to both.
Yeah.
So this
So
becomes
then that
minus
would create
2x
it to
plus
be
3 minus 5x plus 2
minus 2. And then that would be
minus
minus 7x
7x.
plus 5.
Right. So given these same two functions, let me have you try g of x minus f of x. I'm just going to step away for 30 seconds, but I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Okay, I know that was longer than I said it was. What did you
No
come up
worries.
with for this?
My final answer was 7x minus 5.
That is correct. Okay. Now I chose these one because they multiply fairly nicely together. So
Mhm.
you were asking about parentheses. F of x is really the whole thing in
Uh-huh.
parentheses.
Okay, because that's where I got confused because I didn't understand if I'm keeping the like x within it. So like then I'd multiply minus 2x plus 3 times x or something. So that quite literally just is the entire equation. Or
Yeah,
not,
and you have yes.
or what would that be called? That like just part
Well,
up
you're
top of
multiplying binomials.
monomials? Okay. Yeah, so okay, so multiplication, it's like I understand that I'm gonna multiply, it'll be minus 10x squared plus 4x plus 15x minus 6, and then I get that answer.
No, no,
But
no,
I
no.
guess
You're foiling. Minus 10x
yeah.
squared. Let's run
Oh
through this
yeah.
because that's
Minus 10x
important.
squared plus
And then
4x
plus 4x, and then
plus 15x
okay,
minus 6.
and then you got to combine the outer and the inner.
And then that would become 19x. So then minus 10x squared plus 19x minus 6.
Yes.
So then when I have uh that or so I guess like that part makes total sense to me. But the part that like messes with me, I guess, is just the fx gx. Like can it get more tricky than
Yes, but
that equation wise?
not in your class, but let's do f of x over g of x. And this isn't bad at all. It's just the top over
So
the
top over
bottom.
the bottom.
Yeah.
So okay, so I'll be honest with you, like I literally have no idea what to do
Well, you're
with
done. There's nothing to do. There's typically nothing
that's
to
it.
do.
Are you
Like
serious?
most of the time there will be nothing to do.
Huh. Okay, so is division like sort of the easiest then?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so all right, well, I guess that explains something, but
Okay, so
um
let's do a few more of these from your pages here, kind of I have some things here. We should talk a little bit about notation also. Um, you saw this at the top of your page, and this is really key. Be able to understand that it could be presented either way here for some. Like it could be
Uh-huh.
inside parentheses with the x, but it really means f of x plus g of x. Same with the difference. It could be f minus g and then this x, which means f of x minus g of x. This little dot here, make sure you focus. It's little. It's filled in.
Hmm.
That's multiplication, not to be confused with composition.
Okay. So,
Is that like this? You have to know. Like I should be able to give you any form, and I'd like to do that now with a couple of these. Yeah, let
so
me give you. Good.
is that basically like just the definition to what those mean?
Yes.
And then it's basically always so like I'll essentially be given that for every single question.
Well, you're going to be given some. You'll be asked to do a lot of
Variation.
things, but yeah, let's do. Um, make this too crazy. But let's say again, I give you like f of x is 1 minus x, and g of x is x squared plus 3.
Uh-huh.
Let's do, I could ask you f dot g of x, and you have to know that this is f of x times g of x, which is, again, the functions really are in parentheses. So it's 1 minus x times x squared plus 3.
So then, and I'm sorry, do you want me to solve that?
Yeah, could you foil that for us unless there's any questions? Just want to see that you're comfortable kind of manipulating these numbers. Or I'm sorry, manipulating this thing here.
Yeah, so I get um minus x cubed plus x squared minus 3x plus 3.
I missed some of that. So so it's x squared plus 3. The first part, minus x squared, no, minus x cubed minus 3x. So minus x cubed plus x squared minus 3x plus 3. Is that match that you have?
Yes.
Okay. And then if I asked you to do like, and because the order could be different anytime, if I said, well, what is g over f of x? You're supposed to know that that's g of x over f of x, which is x squared plus 3 over 1 minus x.
So so I just put those numbers or not numbers or yeah, I guess numbers. I just put them in that order and then
That's
I'm
it.
done.
That's it.
Man, I don't know how I didn't get division. That's the easiest to just write it.
Yeah, usually it's the only thing easier might be addition, but this is pretty easy.
Okay, shoot. So this is kind of that's basically like from all the pictures I sent you. That's advanced is getting pretty much right.
Well, no, we need to compositions like it's a whole other thing, composition. And
Oh, was this all operation?
yeah, we need to do some
Okay.
composition and then we can so we're gonna do
Oh, okay. Yeah.
composition with the
Composition
numbers
is what
first,
I
and then
figured.
so all right, so I'm just gonna make one up here. Well, not make, I'm gonna grab one of these. Let's do g of f of -2. You first do the inside function. You got to figure out what is f. I'm sorry, I used the wrong letters. H. You have h of -2. You got to first figure out what is h of -2.
Um, like put in h, so like x squared minus 1 times minus
Yeah, you're
2.
putting a -2 in for x squared in that one.
So, all right, I'm just getting to a new page. So, okay, with that, okay, so So you have G parentheses H parentheses minus two parentheses.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
get to that,
putting
but first thing you're doing is the inside function. The inside function is h of -2. There's h of x. There's your
so I'm
number.
literally gonna write x squared minus one times
Except
negative two.
instead of x, you're going to put in -2.
Sorry, could you write this out so I can just visually see it? Because I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so I sense that there's actually some confusion here. So let's do something other. Let's find g plus f of -2. This means to find g of -2 plus f of -2. G of -2 means to put x -2 in for x.
So,
There's g of x. We're putting -2 in for x.
uh-huh. So 3. Oh, okay. So put G of negative 2. So that means there's 3 parentheses minus 2 minus 4 equals negative 10.
Okay, now let's do
And
f of
then,
-2. I'm sorry, h. I keep doing the wrong letters because
no,
I'm
all
used to it
good.
being g and f. Do h, h. That's an h. Okay.
So then,
So now it's parentheses -2 squared. So you treat the variable like it's in parentheses.
uh-huh. So then that would be 4 minus 1, which equals positive 3. Okay,
So then
so
you use those. It's -2 plus -10 plus 3.
minus 1. No. Yes? Am I crazy?
-10 plus
Wait.
3.
Yeah, oh, I'm gonna multiply both of those, or negative 7 times
It's
negative 2, which is positive
no,
14.
that's it. You're not multiplying. Like the g of -2 is the -10.
Uh-huh. Oh, right, right, my bad. Because we solved them. Now we just put them together. So
Yes.
I'm
Let's try
looking
another one.
at so all right, so I'm looking at these as just like I'm inserting the number to
Yes.
the x,
Let's
and it's gonna
find
tell me
f.
what number.
Yeah, let's do f minus g of -1. So this means f of -1 minus g of -1, which means you have to first find f of -1,
So that would
then
be
g of -1.
okay. So then that would be for f 2 parentheses minus 1 plus 7,
Yep.
which is minus 2 plus 7, which equals positive 5. And then for G, that would be minus 5 parentheses minus 1, and then minus 1 once again. So then that would be 5 minus 1, which equals positive 4.
Right. So now instead of f of -1, that's 5. Instead of g of -1, that's 4. 5 minus 4 is
1. So my question is, how do I know when I'm going to be adding or subtracting them?
it'll tell you right here.
Oh, right, right, right. Okay. That's, yeah.
Okay, so let's try another one here. Same functions. Let's find f dot g of 1. So this means f of 1 times g of 1. So you've got to find f of 1, then g of 1.
F1 and G and 1. All right, I'll write these out. F
I'm gonna
times.
step away for 30 seconds, but I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
All right. Any answers for me here?
I got my total answer to be -54.
Okay, so f of 1 is 9, g of 1 is -6. So 9 times -6 is -54. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's look at a couple more here. All right, so let's go f over g of 2. So this means f of 2 over g of 2.
Okay.
So you
F
gotta
of
find those
2.
separately.
So that would be like 2 squared minus 1, correct?
Yeah.
And then that would be 3 over. Okay, so here's my question with this. So for minus 4x squared, x becomes 2. So is it
You
8
square
minus
first.
8 squared?
No, you square first.
So
So you square first, and
uh
then you multiply by 4,
so
-4.
it's minus 4 times 4, which equals -16. So then that'd be -16 and um 2 squared 4 minus 1 over 3. So 3 over -16.
Questions on that?
I'm just gonna look at it just for like 10 seconds.
We're gonna do more. We're just trying to.
I not really. I don't think so.
Okay. All right, so here's two new functions here, f and g again. Let's do f minus g of uh, -1.
F
Yeah, let's
minus
do that.
b minus 1. So then, okay, so I'd be taking x squared plus 2x. So then that would be minus 1 squared, which is 1, plus minus 2, which would be -1 is the total. So f equals -1. F equals -1. And then g would be -1 minus 9 minus 10. So then that would be -1 plus 10, which equals +9 is my complete answer.
Okay. So f of -1 minus g of -1. So f of -1 is like you said, you got to write it this way. Be very careful with your signs. You know, it's 1 minus 2, so that's -1. G of -1 is -1 minus 9, which is -10. So you have -1 minus a -10, which becomes +9. Very good.
All right.
All right, you ready to do some composition?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so a couple of new functions here. We're first going to do f of g of 1. And you always start with the inside function. So you're going to first find g of 1 for me, please.
Um. Okay. Wait. Sorry. So I'm gonna multiply 5x plus 4
Nope. Nope.
by.
I don't know what you're doing. We just did a problem where I gave you two functions and I said find g of 1 or f of 1.
So
G.
3 minus 1 equals 2.
Okay. So now you take the output of that one and it becomes the input of the next one. Now find f of 2.
That would become 14.
Yes. Okay.
So how do I know that
How do you,
by doing g?
well, you see a few examples like we're doing, and then you know to do that first. And that's the real of it. So you always start with the inside function. Let's say it's g of f of -1? You always start with the inside function. What is f of -1?
Uh, that would be 1
Okay,
minus
that be
2.
okay,
Oh, sorry,
sorry.
wait, what am I
Didn't mean,
saying?
I thought you were giving me the final answer. All right, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it would be 1 minus 2, which equals -1.
So that becomes the input to the next one. So now the second thing you find is g of -1. The output of
Yeah.
one becomes the input to the other.
Okay, so then for G, that would be -10,
-10. Good.
and then I'm done.
You're done for now. Yeah. Okay, let's
Okay.
try a few more here. We'll just go back and reuse some of these functions. Okay, go ahead and find h of g of 2. So tell me what to do first. What's the first thing you do?
Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is solve for G by inserting 2 within it, which would be 2 as my final answer, and then I would
Okay,
put 2 for H, so then that would be 2 squared minus 1, which would be 4 minus 1, which equals +3.
very good. Okay. Now, notationally, we gotta get comfortable with some notation here. So let me grab a new problem here. So let's say I wanted you to find f bubble g of -2. Okay. The bubble is the composition. So this really means f of g of -2. So this is what you have to somehow remember is that the second letter is done first. That's the inside function.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so just like before, you're going to first do g of -2, take its output, whatever that is, and that becomes the input to the f.
So G minus 2 would be 10 minus 1, which would be 9. And then 9, 2 times 9, 18, plus 7, 25.
Okay, now go the other direction. Now do g bubble f of -2. It's not the same, but it's just the flip of the order. I'll be right back with you.
Sounds good.
All right. So this the second one is g of f of -2.
E,
So
G
did you
of f
find
of -2. I got 3 for
okay?
F and -16 for G.
Yes, that is correct. All right. So I feel like you've got the numerical examples down. Any questions on those?
Um, I honestly, I think that's just a memory thing I need to get down.
Okay. So let's move to functions. Let's say f of x equals -2x plus 3, and g of x is 4x minus 1. Okay. So if I want f bubble g of x, this means f of g of x. So this is where it's different. Notice there's no numbers. This time you're taking g, the inside function, and you're putting it in for x in the other. You're treating it like x is in parentheses. So this is -2 times 4x minus 1 plus 3. So notice how I just took that function, that whole function as is, 4x minus 1 as is, and put it in for x.
Okay. So sorry, I just need to look at it for a second. So you get the whole thing and you put it in for x. And then I'm just looking at the blank equation for that, f times g times x. Okay, so you get that -2 times 4x minus 1
Yeah,
plus
so now
3.
you gotta
And then
now
that
you
would
gotta
be,
simplify. You gotta distribute in.
so then minus 8x plus 2 plus 3, which is minus 8x plus 5.
That's your final answer. Okay, now let's go the other direction. You can go either way here. Now let's do g of f of x. So this time you're taking f of x and you're putting it in for that x over there on the right in g of x. So it becomes 4, you treat that like it's in parentheses, minus 2x plus 3 minus 1.
Yeah. So then that would be minus 8x plus 12 minus 1 minus 8x plus 11.
All right, you got it. Okay, so let's have you try one or two on your own here. Let's say f of x is x minus 5 and g of x is 6x plus 2. Go ahead and find f of g of x for me, please.
So that means I'm going to multiply,
Not
like where the
multiply.
x is, it's going to be 6x plus 12 parentheses minus 5.
No, no, no. This is just like we did in the previous problems. This is composition.
Oh,
What is the inside function?
g.
G of x. You're taking this g of x and you're putting it in for x.
So that would be 6 plus 7, or
No.
6x plus 7.
Yes. It becomes 6x plus 2 minus 5, not 7.
Oh, shoot, yeah, minus 3.
Okay, now
So
go the other way. G of f of x.
that would be 6x minus 30 plus 12, 6x 30 minus 12 minus 30 plus 12 minus 18.
Right, let me grab a few more here. All right, so let's have you do g of f of x for this one.
Okay. G f of x. So that means I'm inserting the minus 5x minus. No, I'm inserting like the parentheses is going to be around 2x plus 7, correct?
Parentheses f of x. F of x is 2x plus 7.
So so it would be minus 5 parentheses 2x plus 7 minus 1.
So this right here, 2x plus 7 is going in for that right there, that x.
Okay, yeah, that's what I've been. All right, yeah, that's what I meant. Okay.
Could you simplify that for us, please?
Yeah, minus 5 minus 1 minus 10x minus 36.
Okay, now let's go the other way. F of g of x. If you need to, actually, maybe I should grab this and reset the problem.
That
So now
would
you're going the
be
other way, right? You're taking g of x and you're putting it in for that x.
minus minus 10x plus 5.
All right, good. Okay. That's pretty good. Where it gets more difficult is when you get some other things. So I'll work through a few of these with you. Uh, all right. So for this one, we're going to go v of f of x. Okay. So that means we're taking this f of x right here and we're putting it in for x. I think you'll find like circling it, drawing an arrow is really the best way to do it. X squared plus 2x minus 9. Is that okay?
Um,
Taking the
yes.
inside function, putting it in there. Now, when we go the other direction, typically you have to go both directions here. F of g of x. This time you're taking g of x and you have to put it in now twice for x. So that's x minus 9 squared plus 2 times x minus 9.
Oh, because there's two x's, that means I have to do
Yeah.
it twice.
Now, how do you expand this right here? How do you expand x minus 9 squared?
X minus 9 squared. Oh, you're squaring it, correct? So it'd be like x squared plus 81.
Completely wrong. We have to FOIL this.
Oh, foil it. Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Classic mistake. That's why I asked you, because it's very easy
well,
to do that.
you got me. I'll tell
You're
you
not
that.
alone. Almost everyone that does that. So go ahead
All
and
right, yeah.
FOIL
So
that,
that'd
please.
be x squared minus 9x plus 81. And then you get that. And then you'd have x squared minus 16x plus 63.
Good. Good, good, good. Right. Let's see what else here you got. Okay, so here let's try. Give you one to try here. All right, so this is g of x over here. This is a 1 here. Let's go uh, h of g of x. H of g of x. Go ahead and simplify that for me, please.
3. Wait a second. So that would be 3x minus 4, 3x minus 4 minus 1, and then I'm going to FOIL 3x minus 4.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll
Can you
do
do that
that.
for us, please?
9x squared minus 24x plus 15.
So plus 15, you said?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So let's try some harder ones now. All right, so let's take a look at this one. Let's go f of g of x. Ask me some questions if you need.
All right. Hey, my question is there's an X. I'm putting an X within an X.
Yep. Taking all this now and you're putting it in there for X. Just the part with X, not the squared, just the X
Is it 16x squared
to the fourth.
to the fourth? Okay.
Because you multiply the exponents.
So it's 4 times 4 minus times minus, which makes it 16x. Then those
Yeah.
two stay there, which is 4 minus 1. And that's my final answer.
Yeah. When you have an exponent to exponent, you multiply them. That's one way to do it.
Uh-huh.
You seem
Okay.
dissatisfied with that.
I mean, yeah, it's not like too bad. It's just kind of weird having the to the fourth power.
Okay, let's try another one here. Let's try something a little bit different here. What is g of x? Now, this means, and I'm gonna write g of x again. It means you're taking g of x and you're putting it in for x.
So g of x. So I'm putting g within
Kind of back
g,
into itself. Yeah, back into itself. Sorry. Right.
and I'm taking the answer, not the actual. No,
No,
I'm taking the
you're taking itself and putting it back in. Yeah.
so 6 times 6x plus 5, 36x plus 30 plus 5, 36x plus 35.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Now could you find f of g of x for us?
Um, f of g of x. That would be x squared. Is it 6x plus 5, 6x plus 5?
Yes, you're gonna square that by
All right.
multiplying it out. Yep.
That's 5. 36x squared plus 60x plus 20.
Okay. All right. I feel like you got that down. Let's look at some other stuff on here. You got some piecewise stuff here that we should just briefly talk about.
Yeah.
Uh, Basically, you got to decide which piece you're using. Are you using piece one or are you using piece two? You're using the number
Um,
in parentheses question.
no, sorry, I was.
You're going to use the number in parentheses and decide like, is it less than -1 or is it greater than or equal to -1?
Yeah, so in this scenario, it's minus 3, which is greater. So then I'd have to do x squared minus 5. So then that would be 9 minus 5, which is 4 for the first one.
Which piece are you using for -3?
1. I'm using the bottom part too, like x squared minus 5.
Sorry about that. I'm having some
Is that good?
issues with something. Hopefully that stays.
There you go.
Okay, interesting. All right. So, oh boy, oh boy. See if that resolves it. All right. So here's the number line. Here's -1, -2, and -3. Do you want to change your answer? Is -3 left of -1?
Oh my gosh, I thought I was no, it's the top one because minus three
Yes.
is less than negative one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's easy to do that and you think you're right. And I mean, you don't have
yeah,
any
I
reason
was
not to.
confident on
And
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
bumping along. It's called Diddy bopping in the South.
yeah, yeah. So then that would be 3 times minus 3, which is negative 9, plus 7, which would be negative 2.
Okay.
And then negative
Now,
1 would be the second one because it's equal
agreed.
to. So then that would be 1 minus 5, which equals negative 4. And then 0 is greater than negative 1. So that would just be negative 5 because 0 minus 5 is minus 5. And then I would put those points onto a graph.
Well, no, that's different. That's way different. We're not graphing, we're just evaluating.
Oh, yep, you're correct.
Your teacher actually laid out this next part really well with the table here. So what you do is you start at the value, even if it's not defined, but you got to pick values less than -1, like -2 and -3.
Oh,
And this one is actually the wrong direction. It should be a greater than. I don't know why that's there. So you did some of these already, so I won't make you redo them, but could you fill in the rest of this table for us, please?
yes. One, so minus 2 and 1, minus 9 plus 7 is minus 2. Yes, so for negative 2, negative 1, minus 3, negative 1, and then minus 1, minus 4, minus 0, minus 5, 1, minus 5, minus 4.
Okay. And then you got to know whether it's an open or a closed circle. So this one is closed, and this one is open.
Right. And then they're both have negative 1 as their x, so you can do the like lines going down on the minus 1 coordinate,
So we
so
got
you
one,
know where it's
two,
all
three,
going.
four. I would probably make you keep going on this one because you may not get a great look at what
Great
it looks
graph of
like.
it.
Yeah, three, one, two, three. Should look something like that when you're all done.
Yeah. And then um
And that's it. I mean, I don't, there's not there's nothing more to that.
yeah.
All right, here, let me give you another problem. Have you find some values. Close out here, last few minutes. We're just gonna be right up to 7. Let's have you find f of negative. Sorry, that's not gonna work. F of -3. F of -3.
Um it would be the top one.
The first piece. Okay, so could you evaluate that for us, please?
Or well, it could be the second one, right? No,
The
the second
first
one has to be
one's
2.
less than 1. I mean, if that's 1,
Yeah.
that's 0. And that's why
Yeah.
it's, I mean, it might seem really like trivial, elementary, like just draw it, draw the number line so you know for sure where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so then that would be uh minus it would be 2 plus 4, which equals 6.
It is 6, yeah. How about f of 3?
That would be the second one, so minus 6 plus 6 is 0.
Okay. What about f of 1?
Um, -2 + 6 = 4.
Uh, it's not defined there. It has to be, so yeah, this is less than one, this is between one. So this actually
Yeah,
does not
that's what I
exist. It's
was
kind of,
thinking was like less than
all right,
3.
what about f of 5?
3 would be the final answer.
Good. All right, good job today. Good job. All right, so we're gonna go and stop there.